Hey guys, welcome back to Hardly Working. Today I'm going to be installing a sprinkler system in my watermelon plot. I got 8 sprinklers out here. It's all going to be above ground. There are rainbird heads in the middle, and then I have hunter ones around the outside. There's obviously going to be some plumbing involved, as well as some electrical. At the end of the video, you'll watch me turn it all on and watch all the sprinklers come to life. So sit back, relax. Thanks for watching. We're coming over here to my first main valve, which I wired into my red shed, which we come in here. Comes in from the floor, comes up into my sprinkler controller. Last night I also installed my 2 12-volt batteries to make a 24-volt system. So now my solar panels are all making power. I don't have anything on right now, but as you can see, I turn my inverter on and then turn my lights on in the shed. We have lights. Also can turn on my fence charger, that gets power. Can also turn on my sprinkler controller, that gets power. So that's all working. So today what I'm gonna do is run a 1-inch line from this main valve all the way out to these 8 sprinklers out in this garden plot. First one's gonna be on this post. It is a nice warm day, so this pipe is nice and flexible for me. Anywhere down the stream from this valve, I'm just gonna use 1 clamp. If I get a little bit of water leakage, you know, it's oh well. Actually here I'm gonna use 2, because I'm not inside the garden plot, but once I get inside there, I'm not gonna worry about using 2. That's the first valve done. This is kind of an exploded view of what I'm doing for each sprinkler. This will be my main line running across here. I'll have a valve for the sprinkler, and then there'll be a pipe going up to the top. It'll transition down to 3/4 inch male pipe thread, and then it'll go right into my sprinkler. So that's what that looks like. And if it's on the end, it'll just be an elbow instead of that T. Nothing else down the line. It flies out here already. So that looks like. Here's where it's gonna go, right there. Just gonna cut my pipe off. Put 1 clamp on. It's gonna look just like that. It's gonna work out perfect. Same thing on the other side of the run. 1 clamp. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish off this 1 post and then show you guys how 1 works, and then I gotta do it 8 more times. Or 7 more times. Give this a zip tie or 2, so it's not hitting my fence. So I want to have the top of my sprinkler about right there, so that the thing comes above it, which means I want to cut this about right there. Slide my sprinkler on. Let's clamp it down. Another zip tie. And there we go. That's how it looks. Nice sprinkler on a post. It's got its valve on the bottom. All right, so I finished. So I'll give you a little tour again, the water comes from there. It's main valve. First sprinkler here, and it runs out to the middle, and then goes to the second sprinkler, which is in the middle. And then I use the cross fitting to bring it that direction, and then back to the next middle section. So there's another sprinkler out there, and then another one right there. We got Dad on the skid steer. That's with all the noises in the background. And then it comes across the middle of the garden here. I might have to do some sort of a covering because I might be wanting to drive across here with a four-wheeler. I don't want to wreck this pipe. Comes to here with another cross fitting up to the next middle sprinkler. And again, we have branch that way, branch that way, and branch that way for a total of 8 sprinklers. So now we can just get them wired up. By wired up, I mean taking these valves, running them all the way back to the red shed. So the way this will work is every single sprinkler has a common. So all the commons will get put together in this one spot. 4 commons in this spot put together. So I'll have to have 3 of the 2-strand wires there because I need to have 5. So I'll have 1 extra wire here, if that makes sense, because there'll be 3 2-strand. That'll give me 6 wires to work with, but I only need 5 in this spot because there's 4 zones, but with 1 common. Cut this, strip that away, separate these wires, strip them at number 18. And then take my valve wire, pull that off of there. And sometimes the wire nuts can kind of try not to, they kind of don't tighten very well. You kind of got to bunch up that braided one. So right now it's kind of just spinning. It's not really gripping onto there. Gotta kind of turn it until it finally grips. Wiggle them around. If it doesn't, pull it off. Snip off that other wire. Because the copper one's what's holding it from. There we go, now it might bit. It's kind of hard to mix these 2-stranded versus solid. Just like so. Now, clean out my wiring, bundle it up a little bit, and let's tie it to this water line with a good old zip tie. Just like that. Zip tie this to here. I'm trying to run the wires on the bottom side to help them keep protected a little more. And then we'll run that into the shed. Okay, here's an update. I have these 4 sprinklers wired up and ran all the way back to the shed. So if I can try and explain this to you best I can. As you can see, there's 1 wire going that way, 1 wire going that way, and 1 wire going this way. As well as there's 2 right here because 1 comes right to this valve. So there's 4 sprinkler valves coming into this stack here. That's why there's 5 wire nuts, because each of them has a common, and the commons all get put together. You can see that white one has a lot of them in there. That's why there's 3 wires here to make 6 wires. So 5 out of 6, and we have a spare one right here. And then that runs back all the way to the shed, this direction. Takes a left. This one is gonna be my common. It's sitting there waiting to get hooked up to the rest of the commons in this spot. And the 2 ones that are full of zones, just bypass this and go straight to the shed over here. I don't have them all cleaned up yet, but they're going into the shed right there. They come out to my box, through the bottom hole there, up to here, and I have them labeled 1 and 2, so I can label that number 1 has white going to this sprinkler and red going to this sprinkler. Number 2 has white going to one sprinkler and red going into another sprinkler. So I have it all on my phone, so then when I wire this up, I know which sprinkler is going to turn on which zone. It's the next day. I've got every single line done except this last one. I still need to zip tie that up and clean it up, as well as wire in this valve right here. And then I got to come over here, put waterproof wire nuts on this one, and then zip tie that all up, put it all into the shed nice and neat, and then we can wire it up inside there. And I've been pulling out 3 arm lengths to give me enough inside the shed there. Then I cut it off. And that should be all we need from this spool. And I'll fish it through my hole. Now that everything's all wired in, I'll go from here all the way to the shed, taking out the slack, and tying it up to my water line. Just like this. As we get closer and closer to the shed, I'll end up pushing all the slack back into the shed, cutting it off. So, you can take each of our wires, you can take all the ones that have slack, push it up through the hole. So as you might have guessed, a lot of these have extra slack now, so I can pull it all the way up so that the slack is coming out of my sprinkler box. I still have one more wire I gotta feed through this apparatus. It's time to wire this thing up. I got all my wires into my controller box. So let's get started. I labeled each of these as I went. So number 3, 4, 1. Number 3 is what I'm gonna start with because the white in number 3 is my common. Let's leave myself about, let's go to the top of the valve box for each one. There we go. I'm gonna strip this back. And on these actually I'm gonna strip it quite far back. For the reason being is I might have number 7 and common being further apart, just in case I have different wires that need to be further apart. Bring white into my common terminal. It's gonna be kind of difficult to do this without kinking these wires. Into this common right here. Put that in there. Tighten it down. There you go. And then this one is my left middle. So I want to make that 1, 2, 3. I want to make that zone 4. I'll insert a drone shot here. And I want this to be number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and finally 8. So it's basically right to left, front to back. Let's try and push these in. Shut that up. And then I can turn on my controller. Manual run. Zone 2, let's say. I'm used to running these things on Wi-Fi. I don't have Wi-Fi out here. Station 2 for a minute. Let's hit OK. And then let's come out here and see if these click. Oh, I heard it. Yep, we got power. So I heard this main valve click first. Get this guy running as well. Like I said, I'll come back and cut all these zip ties, but I like the way this looks. All the wire nuts are up in the air, so the water can't get in them, even though they are waterproof anyways. I think it looks pretty good. Sprinklers are nice and level. They'll pop up and, I can't get that to pop up, but they'll pop up and water the plot for me. Be pretty handy. It's that time of year. Let's crack open the valve. Before we do anything else, let's plug in the sprinkler controller. That way this flow meter can start to monitor. And we'll come outside, do our valve, open it up. There we go. Turn on zone number 1. Go outside and see what we got. Here's the sprinklers. They're working. The way I'll do this is on the outsides, I'll put 6.0 nozzles, which is 6 gallons a minute. And the insides I'll do 8 gallons a minute since those have to travel a lot more distance. This comes pre-installed in there. Just push it in there. Retighten down that screw. Just enough to hold it in place. Then we got to set our left and right stops here. They should already be set to 180, so we don't have to mess with that. Just have to mess with where it shoots 180 at. I'll do that 6 more times, and then I'll do the 2 in the middle as well. Okay, I finished with that. Now this valve is shut off, so nothing down here should be on. That way when I get up here, nothing should be burst. But yeah, let's go turn the water on. Around this fence here, in front of our yard, we have these 2 boxes that I just installed last summer. One of them has a blowout valve, blow this line out. And this one has the golden valve that we're just gonna turn on. The water is a Russian, man. The air come out of there. Comes the water. We have water, baby. Looks like we got all the air out. I'm gonna shut this off. And I'm gonna turn this valve and it should stop right there. That valve should not be open. So let's go ahead and try that out. Perfect, looks like it stopped. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on zone 7. So let's power on our inverter. We have power on the irrigation controller. Manual, station 7 for 5 minutes. Looks like we got power. Should be that sprinkler right over there. Yep, there it is. There's our sprinkler. Now I'm just going around and turning on each zone and seeing how it works. And then I'm gonna, once they all run, I'm gonna see if there's any dry spots. Right now it's kind of windy, so I can't really judge like this corner over here because none of these sprinklers are gonna reach that. But when the wind goes down, this one easily reaches this one. They all reach each other. Got some power, huh? Look how far that's reaching. Way past the other sprinkler. You see the sprinklers all the way back there, and we're hitting over here. That's quite a ways. We got the next one coming on right here. These have even bigger nozzles in them because they're in the middle. Water all the way over there. Rainbirds move a lot faster as well. Doesn't really make any difference. Just something I noticed. Now these ones don't actually do a full circle. They just stop and then back to the other side. Whereas the hunters, they'll go in a circle forever. And that's actually better. That way the ground can soak up the moisture. That way this spot's not getting hit and then stopping and then getting hit again. It'll just keep going around and it'll be able to soak it up faster. Should turn on here any second now. Okay, so the valve turned on, just the sprinkler didn't pop up. Maybe just this flow control is on backwards. Oh yep, that's what the problem was. You didn't have it tightened yet. Flow control was off. There you go, flow control's all the way on. That sucker's shooting water. Get this one kicked on now. There it goes. Reaching all the way, about 40 or 50 feet. I got Dad on the Ranger. There you go, guys. That was me installing a sprinkler system. Hopefully it was a little bit informational for you. If it wasn't, hopefully it was at least entertaining. And if it was either of those things, consider giving me a subscribe and a like on this video. But I think that's gonna be about it for this one. So if I'm lucky, I'll see you in the next one.